Good evening, YouTubers, and bit of a midweeker for you. This is the tank that was done on Sunday, so it's had 72 hours worth of curing, and look at that, well happy with the result. So that was the stuff that I used. Pro XL 2K Clear, that was 2 of those cans, which are 200ml cans. Circa 5 coats, I suppose, and yeah, pretty happy with the result. Look at that. I say it's not perfect, it's really not far off, it's good stuff. It's a little bit flecky, but that's what I intend to try and sort out now. For those that have seen other stuff know that there's some things I can be anal about, but I am remarkably impatient when one of my many character flaws, indicated by the fact that I've already had to go at the petrol cover piece. Did that last night, and nice and flat, nice and shiny, couple of little imperfections, but frankly, so much better than was, all the little repairs done on it. So that's the plan. This evening is to get to that stage. Slightly heartbreaking because it's got a nice sheen to it at the moment. The first thing you're supposed to do is get rid of it, but let's just check out how my repairs held up. So really not too bad. I don't think I can find them with help. I don't know how much they're going to come up when I start rubbing it down, but actually really quite chuffed. Not bad for a first attempt. On the other side I can't even find them at all, so I've done one side better than the other. It was a little bit wavy down at the bottom end here. You can still kind of see it in the light. There you go. Yeah, it's a 24-year-old bike, come on. So, what's the plan? It's plain and stinky. So, I'm going to trash my good work, which was heartbreaking. Just when I did this, doing it on this tank, probably you may well experience me crying. But what I'm going to do is got some 1000 grit, got a very soft sponge pad, got a sink, got hot water, got a lot of soap, so a bit of a soapy rub down. Sounds a little bit more erotic than it should be, but a soapy rub down, just to get it down to nice and level, because you can see, I can't quite see in this light, but it is, a little bit flecky. I could just chuck it on the bike like this and I'll be entirely happy, but I would feel like I've missed a step if I did that. So a bit of an example there. I'm not sure whether or not I've got a lovely flat element on the actual cover, and I want to get that on the tank as well. So yeah, so I am definitely going to do it. I'd only feel like I'd half chucked it if I didn't. So 1000 grit rub down to start with, just to flatten it off a little bit and to key it in a bit. Then once I've done that and cleaned it off, a quick dose of rubbing compound on top of that, and then it's going through the polish and the like. I don't know how long I've had this. It's been kicking around the garage for ages. It's really good. I don't know why I bought it. I bought it years ago. It's been sat in the bottom of the box. It's really good stuff, and I'll show you the way that I discovered to put that on. I did it initially by hand, but I have found a buffing disc. So I'm going to get set up and get going on it. I think I'm just going to fast forward it, because the last thing you want to see is me rubbing down a tank. There's going to be no special technique or anything. I might even just cut in and cut out. We will see how I go and how boring it is to watch, but I'll certainly give you updates as I go along. Right, slight camera angle change, because I realise if I left the camera on the table it'll wobble every time I do anything. So on the old slightly rickety kitchen table, going to create a bit of a swamp here, but hey, I haven't bothered masking off because frankly can't be bothered. It's only going to catch slightly. So I'm being This is essentially massaging rather than necessarily rubbing, so I'm reliably informed. Okay, so really knock the tops off a lot of that, still some bits there, so what I'm going to do is just give it another quick once over, see how it goes. That's better. I say that's better, I'm never entirely sure what I'm looking for, but it's starting to look flatter. I'm starting to get that sort of flat matte look, which is what I'm after. A little bit mottled, which doesn't bother me in the slightest. Well, a few of the of my watchers, that's what I was looking for. Followers or watchers, all that still sounds a little bit seedy. When I was having an all, you can see a little bit of that blemish. Oh well. When I was picking the bones out of my work, a few people reminded me on how much better it is than it was, and that's precisely where I'm trying to get within this. Just keep myself in mind of what condition it was in compared to what it is now. I mean, even now, even with no polish on it at all, no cutting bar, this is 300% better already. So this is the icing on the cake, really. So a little bit of pressure, I can feel this sliding around under my hand, which is a really nice feeling. It's still slightly heartbreaking, I have to say, to get rid of that fresh sprayed cover. It is, but it's all in a good cause. All in a good cause. So it's gonna put this down a little bit more, I think, and then break out the cutting compound. And see how that takes us. Just got to remember how far out this goes. A fair amount, so yeah, right next to the raised cap section. I'm not too concerned about, because it gets covered up in the end. That said, if it's crap, I'll know, and it'll bug me. say, it is feeling great. And that, I think, at this particular moment in time, is the main thing. I'm not feeling any big chunks or dents. All those little bits of detritus that fell off the trees and everything during that high wind paint session, which is not the most stupid thing I've ever done, but fighting away for a number on the list. Right, let's just see where that's got us. And I think actually I'll bring you down for a closer look. In fact, I will just let it dry to a bit of a haze. I think knocked that off, which is a bit daft of me. Yeah, I'll let that dry to a haze and then we'll have a closer look. Right, so that's dried off a little bit. If I pop in the odd bit of bubbles, if I try and manipulate that in front of the camera a little bit, so it's not too bad. You can see my repairs have come shining through, but hopefully that will polish out quite nicely. A few dimples. So I think what I'm doing here is, you can see the repair, but let's see if that buffs out. I think what I'm doing there is really highlighting where with the rubbing compound I need to give it a good one. So with a Halford's Finest, I need a wet cloth or a damp cloth to do it with. Got one somewhere hanging around that was clean and damp, seems to have disappeared. So it's dab on in various places. I think this one's a dab on directly onto the panel. Yeah, gently work it around with a damp cloth, even pressure, etc, etc. I'm not going to film that because my camera is literally about to die, despite the fact it's been on charge for a while, but filming seems to destroy it. I'll give that a go and then give you a catch up afterwards, after I've sorted out the camera. Cool, be right back. Okay, so there we go, rubbing compound done on that, and it's just dull. There's still a little bit of fleckage in it. You can kind of see, but it's just taken that hard edge off, and it feels smooth as a baby's bum. Right, so what next? Godsend. I was doing this by hand on the other bits and pieces, not that I'd 2K cleared them or anything, that I just painted them and I was doing them by hand. And I stumbled across a buffing block in the garage. Not sure what it's used for. Well, it'd never been used actually. Not sure why we got it. It's for a project for the missus for something, but it never really got used. So I was really concerned about using it on well, plastics for the rest of the bodywork, but I'm using it on this for one simple reason, and that's I mean, it's only a cheap, crappy, very cheap and very crappy drill, but I was concerned about it getting too hot and just burning through. And my second big discovery was it's got a speed sensor on it, which I'd never noticed before. So I can actually just hold it at a nice slow buzz. So what I'm going to do is drop some, turn that off. I'm trying to keep that pad off anything crappy. I'm going to drop some of this polish on that I brought up earlier that I found somewhere. So Ultimate Compound Colour and Clarity Restorer. That actually is really good. So what I'm going to do is, in no particular rhyme or reason, formation, I'm not starting anywhere in particular for any reason. It's just gloop it down, drop it on in various places, put the drill on a nice slow speed just to rub it in a bit, and then speed it up to try and get a bit of polish out of it. Stealing my wine.
My wine.
Right. Polish Apologies for that interruption. Can't get the staff. Right, so on a slow speed. So I don't know about your drill, but on my one it's got a little dial at the bottom, so faster, slower. That stops. So I really want it barely moving because I don't want to burn the paintwork. It does splash up and make a bit of a mess. So this is why the good lady's left the kitchen while I do it. I don't want too much pressure. Unfortunately, if I put too much pressure on it, it stops. Now, unlike a proper buffer, this is a bit cumbersome, and I need to be very careful not to hit the fresh new paintwork with the drill as I'm going, because that would be slightly heartbreaking. And part of the reason why I've taken the chuck key off the bottom, because it's one less bit of metal to hit a bit of plastic, or to hit a bit of freshly painted metal. So, really dosing it in where I can. And bearing in mind this is flat, unpolished. So this is the first polish it's had on it, so I want to get it quite well worked in where I can. And just to get it nicely manhandled in. Again, classic Nat, using the wrong tool to do the wrong thing, and occasionally getting the right result. Just working that in, and you see how much you can actually see on the angle. Hopefully it's coming out okay. Right, the first pass, what I'm looking for is no big chunks of polish, because I do want to let it to dry to a bit of a haze while I move on to the next bit. Alright, making sure I put it down with the polish pad not touching anything, because I don't want it condensed or swished or whatever you want to call it. Right, so just going to pad that out a little bit. I don't know how I'm going to do for camera angle here, so I apologise in advance if this isn't the most visible thing in the world. I do just want to weak it up a little bit. Yeah, I'll have to hold it at a bit of an angle so you can see what I'm doing, but I'll have to do that in a second. Being very careful because I don't want this to topple and crack all of my hard work on a glass tabletop. Or tabletop, breakfast bar I suppose. It's a good encouragement to tidy up after me, otherwise the kids will try and eat cereal out of it. So, lots of spots on there. Grab out the old budget, nice low speed again. Right, now I'm just going to turn you off while I leave that for a couple of seconds just to dry to a bit of a haze. Right, so that's had literally less than a minute. That's just long enough for me to get a glug of booze. Mrs. steals all of it. Right, so nice, new, clean microfiber, and just gently rub all that off. And look at that, you can see it coming through already, and that's after just one pass. that's not bad at all. And a tiny bit orange peel in places, but frankly, again, listening to the commentaries on earlier videos, just compare it to what it was before. I'm not sure they said it in that tone of voice, but hey. Look at that, that's after one polish, and I probably intend to do at least 3 or 4 of those, but that's pretty smart. Now you can get a reflection of the camera after one. I'm amazed by the stuff and the process. So, with a little bit of patience and not a lot of skill. Right, what I'm going to do then is shut you off, do the same on the other side, and then maybe do a couple more passes on this side till I have to put the kids to bed, and then I'll come and then I'll show you how we're getting on. But chuffed. Right, that's what, hour and a half later, including quick stroll up the shops and putting one of the kids to bed, and look at that. I am so chuffed. I really am, and I know people have had a dig at me for being down on myself for things not being perfect, and it ain't perfect, but it ain't that far off. It's really pretty good. You know, if you paid a fortune and got it from a spray shop, would you accept what you got? Probably not. Would any bike owner in the world be happy with their bike looking like this after a Sunday afternoon polish? Yeah, of course they would. Look at that. That is a job well jobbed, and I'm well happy with that. So it just goes to show, if you want a professional finish, go to a professional. If you want to have a professional finish, then yeah, pay for it. But if you don't want to pay for it, you can do it yourself and end up with some pretty remarkable results. I'm sure I'll get better with practice, and I'm sure I will get better with practice, but you know, for a first attempt, I'm really chuffed. I'm naturally tight. I won't pay for the best products in the world. There's nothing that I've used on here that was the most expensive. A few things were the cheapest, but that 2K Clear is awesome kit. Let me grab it again. Yeah, that 2K Clear is awesome kit. I'm only going to test it when I throw some fuel on it, and there is no way I'm intentionally chucking fuel on that. It looks too pretty, but that's good stuff. A bit of time, bit of effort, and you end up with good results. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the fuel tank cover back on. There's a bit of rubber that goes round the base of the plastic. I need to give that a bit of a rub down to make sure that's not going to let it down. I'm going to put it on, put it back together, and see how it looks. If for no other reason, I'm paranoid about stuff going in the top. I've tried covering it a few times. You've seen a bit that I've had on it fall off a couple of times. I'm paranoid about stuff going in there. I'm also paranoid about putting too much sticky on it and not being able to get it off. So I want to cover that up, but I'm going to stick that on now, and you will see the end result. There's no point putting it on the bike. It's dark outside. The lighting in my garage is shoddy at best, but you will see the end result. So I'll be back in a second. Right, petrol cap on. That is me for the evening. I am well happy with that. Bearing in mind the start state and what it looked like before, that's going to look amazing. Sat on the bike, like I say, it's dark out there, and the lighting in my garage is pretty crap, so there's no point in me putting it on there so you can see it. But look, reflections and everything. Is it crystal clear? No, it was never going to be, frankly. Is it considerably better than it was before? Oh hell yeah, look at that. That is going to look beautiful on top of the bike, let alone the fact that the bike is 24 years old. I'm well happy with that. Right, I'm gonna, while I've got the kit out, I'm gonna give some of the plastics that I've got on the go a bit of a once over. So that's the tail plastics. Side pieces look okay, mudguard looks fab. What else is going on? I have got a new tyre ordered. I need to get the wheel off the bike, and that should get fitted on Saturday, which means theoretically I could be ready for an MOT this weekend. I don't think I'll get it done this weekend, but I could be ready for one this weekend, which would be pretty sweet. Pretty sweet indeed. Yeah, cool, happy. What else do I want to do with the tank? I want to get some edging rubbers on here. It's only cheap, it's a little finishing piece, but I just really, I don't know whether or not it's going to work because they're designed for straight edges and they're quite bendy on a bike, but yeah, I want to at least try it, see if I can get that to work. Yeah, it's always something that I see. But no, really impressed with the paint job. Yeah, didn't think I'd get quite such good results from a windy Sunday in the garden. Oh, and a relatively late evening midweek afterwards. Cool. Thanks very much all. Give us a thumbs up if you're enjoying this. Spread it amongst your friends. My subscriber count is increasing steady and surely. I'm really impressed at the numbers that come in. I'm really chuffed that you're enjoying this by proxy as much as I'm enjoying doing it. Yeah, leave us a comment, click subscribe, share, spread the word. Thoroughly enjoying this one. Cheers now. Catch you later.